Many midlife parents are balancing so many things. They're balancing their marriage, multiple jobs, extracurricular activities, maybe aging parents. And then before you know it, your kids are 18 and 21, and you start to wonder, did I have enough opportunity to build a close relationship with my kids? Did I spend enough time? Did I build that connection that will be long lasting and that bond that is unbreakable? I think many of us Gen Xers were raised by boomer parents who didn't care where you were, what you were doing. They had zero interest in your life. They had zero parenting. And we wanted to change that cycle. So we've raised our kids a lot differently than how we were raised. But today I wanted to talk about the 7 things that I've done to build a close relationship with my kids over the years. I think many of us get to the point where our kids are young adults and they're about to launch. And then we start to panic thinking, did I say enough? Did I do enough? Did I teach them enough? Are they going to be good humans? Are they going to want me to still be part of their life when they leave? That's my biggest fear, is that when my kids leave, that they never come around. They never call. They don't want really to be part of our lives anymore. But I've made a point over the years of building a strong connection with my kids, very strong family values. And that's what I wanted to share today. I'm not the perfect parent by any means. I made a lot of mistakes, but my kids, when you see them in photos, those are genuine smiles. You will never see a fake forced smile in any photo from my kids. And I will say that, we've spent all these years focusing on building a very strong family connection between the 4 of us, my husband, myself, and the 2 kids. And those strong family values kept us close. And I hope that's what will keep us close moving forward when the kids do eventually leave. Right now, they're still home. So we're not quite an empty nest, but we're getting there very soon. That's what I wanted to share today. So if you are one of those parents as well, wondering, what you can do to build that connection with your kids, it's never too late, even if they're teenagers. Teenagers can be problematic with all those raging hormones, but it's never too late to build that connection with your kids. If you're new here, hi, I'm Lori, and welcome to my channel. I'm not like all the other midlife channels out there. I'm still working. I still have young adults living in the home. I'm still years away from retirement, but I am trying to redefine my life, find my purpose, and raise these kids and launch them into the world. If any of this resonates, I hope you'll subscribe. I think that one of the most important things that I did over the years was to add in small rituals. We always made a point every night of having story time. So both kids, every night until, I don't know, I think they were probably about 10 years old, we would get out books. And my kids had a very large book collection. So we would get out books, and every night spend time with each kid reading stories. So that was one thing. And then also over the years, it was always, whenever everyone was home, we always had family dinner. Everyone was at the table. And unless we were on the road running here and there for various extracurricular activities, the other nights, everyone was sitting down at the table. And at that time, at the table, that was an opportunity for people to talk. How was your day? What did you accomplish today? What was a good thing that happened today? Any struggles today? So just having conversations, finding opportunities where you can bring everyone together and have conversations. Other small rituals were that we always had Sunday morning breakfast. Even now, my kids are 18 and 21. I make Sunday morning breakfast, and that's something that they look forward to. Whatever you can do to spend time with your kids where you're all sitting down together having conversation. Another thing that we always did was play board games. We made a point that at least once a week, we either would watch a movie together or play board games together. Just anything to bring everyone together. Kids will forget a lot of things. They might forget about vacations. They're definitely going to forget about all of the things that you bought them. But they're not going to forget about the connections, the time spent together, how you made them feel, and them just feeling safe and part of a family unit. You need to listen more than you need to do lecturing. The fastest way to shut down any conversation is for you to start lecturing and turning every conversation into a learning moment. The kids, they just want to be heard. They want to be understood. Ask them questions like, what is your thought? What's your opinion? What matters to you? and how can I help? Not just you, instructing, lecturing, pointing out what's wrong. I think they just want to feel heard and contribute to the conversation. So stopping with the lecturing, let them speak first, and then give them time to come up with some sort of conclusion on their own. Spending one-on-one time with each of your kids is really important as well, because that way you get a chance to build connection individually with each kid. Then that gives them that little bit of special time. But the other point to be made is that the one-on-one time as a family, meaning one-on-one, no devices, no television on in the background. Another thing that we made a point of doing for one-on-one was to take a family vacation every year. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be the smallest thing, but just some time away together, away from home, where it's just you, all the family, spending time together, making memories, having conversations. It's good for the siblings as well to have that alone time together. And that's something that our kids also look forward to. They still talk about most of our vacations. And it has really given us a chance just to be away from home, away from any struggles, problems, everything going on at home. It's like an escape that the family is on together. When we sit down for dinner, there's never a phone on the table. There's no phone on the table at home. There's no phone when we go out for dinner somewhere else. That's the time for us to just sit and have a conversation with no distractions, no phones allowed. And even when we would do road trips, we restricted the amount of device time on a road trip, because the whole point of the road trip is just to be look out the window, enjoy the scenery, just be together, have a conversation. And I mean, I get it. It's annoying when your kid's asking you, when are we getting there? We're bored, but kids need to be bored. It's okay for them to not have something to do every second of the day. And they're not going to remember any of the road trip if they've got their face down in a device the whole time. It's really important for you to support their independence. We can't run in and solve all the problems for our kids. We want to, but we're doing them more harm than good by doing that. They need to feel that they have adequate skills to manage certain situations and certain problems. They have problem-solving skills, and that they're independent. And the more flexibility that we give them and trust, then the more independent they will be, and the more that they'll respect us. If you don't give your kids an opportunity to prove themselves, they're going to feel constantly controlled. And the more you control everything about your kid's life, those kids are going to rebel, because they're looking for freedom. They're looking for independence. They're trying to figure out who they are. And by you controlling everything, taking away all of their decision making, all of their problem solving, you're not giving them the skills to be successful in life. Very early on, you need to set boundaries and expectations. Our kids knew right from the get-go what the expectations were as part of the family. So they knew that, yes, dinner's at the table every night, and we never allowed the rituals to be broken. So dinner, everyone had to be together. If it was a movie night, no one was going to reschedule. That was a priority, having our time together. And the kids, they had responsibilities. They had chores. They had the tiniest, even smallest little chore, even when they were little. Something to give them that little bit of responsibility and, sort of independence. And then as they got older, the chores increased. And they knew that that was their responsibility. Kids need boundaries. They need to have responsibilities. They need to know the expectations, because they need to have the routine. They need the routine. They need some sort of discipline. I'm not talking physical discipline. You are not your kid's best friend. You are their parent. And that's one thing that we made sure. We never point of letting everything slide because we were more concerned about making sure our kids liked us and that we were friends with them. There has to be a clear role. You're the parent, they're the kids. Your kids have enough friends. They don't need more friends in a parent. Yes, you want to have a good relationship with them, but also you have to be the parent and not their best friend. I see so many parents who let their kids get away with everything because they're just so worried that their kids aren't going to like them. They are following all of their kids and their friends on social media, keeping up with what they're doing. Now, I have my kids on social media, but I've never followed any of their friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, because that's their relationships. And I'm the parent, I'm the authority, and that it has to stay like that. So I never let my kids just go and do whatever they wanted. I gave them the freedom to make some decisions and some choices and to do certain things, but always with guidance and with me being the parent making the decision ultimately. Another big piece of advice is that it's okay to admit when you're wrong. Your kids will respect you so much more when you are not the one that has to win, you have to be right, when you acknowledge that you made a mistake and that you were wrong. The biggest secret is that most close parent and child relationships aren't built because parents are perfect and doing everything right. It's because kids feel heard, they feel safe, they feel seen, they feel loved, respected. That is basically what it's all about. That's all you need to know. Long after kids have forgotten about what you've bought them, they're going to always remember how you made them feel. Did you make them feel loved, safe, protected? And if they feel loved and respected and valued, they're going to seek you out. Even later in life, once they've launched and they're off into the world, they're going to continue to come back. That's my hope, at least. I feel like I've made a very strong, close relationship with my kids because that's the goal. I do want them to come back. I want to still be part of their life. And the biggest thing is just respecting them as people, letting them make mistakes, letting them make their own decisions, letting them fall, and then just accepting them for, whatever that fall was, that it's okay, because we don't learn unless we make mistakes. And it goes both ways, parents and kids. If you are struggling yourself, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know how you're managing any struggles that you're having, how old your kids are, if they've left the nest. And if you have any advice for me, I would really appreciate it. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you've already subscribed. I'm going to be sharing here all of my midlife adventures, parenting, working full-time, pre-retirement, perimenopause, all that fun stuff. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, bye for now.